In this tutorial, we're going to briefly go over how to make products. Now, if you haven't watched the resources video or you don't understand videos or resources yet, just go back and learn about resources first. Otherwise, you're not really going to understand what's going on here. If you understand resources, this is going to be pretty easy to understand for you. So this is, again, the default rules of the game, which if you're the game master, you can modify in any way you want. This game is so customizable that it's one of the great things about it. Me personally, in my world, I like to, with this aspect of the game, the resources products, I like to play the default rules because they're pretty dang good. So we're going to get into, like I say, making products. And this is where these second letters are going to come in. So you probably already understand the resources. Just to briefly recap, I own this coffee table here. Remember, everything here is just symbolizing something in the real world. So something physically that you actually play at. So here I'm doing my industrial mechanic, and I was making V resources here before. And again, one thing I didn't mention, to make resources or products, only one person can do it at a time at a property. So say this elephant man comes along, and I'm doing one of the industrial mechanics trying to get this resources or products, and this guy comes along. He cannot perform any industrial actions while I'm working on mine. He can go somewhere else in the same city or a different region or whatever, or a different city. Generally the games are played at one region at a time, but that's not necessarily a in-stone rule. But regardless, two people can't be at the same property making the same resource. Now this guy could be helping me with my task, but he can't run a separate task. So anyway, back to making products. Now, as we said in the other video, I own this coffee table here, which makes, I think I call it coffee stand, and the last one, whatever, makes V resources. And this desk makes A resources. This cabinet makes O, but all of them can also make Z or M. Now, products are a little bit different. You can make either of the letters. You can make the letter of the property and the opposite letter. And that's same here, Z and A. I can make both of these for products, and M and N. Now, if I was at this property here, which I remember in the last video I don't own, so I have to work out some deal with this owner to make these, or he can hire me to make them for him. Now, it's interesting with this one because they can make A, Z, or Z and A well, it doesn't matter for products, but what I'm trying to say is with resources, they can make A or Z resources because you got the property here and this. But with the products, I think I said resources, A or Z resources because of that. But with the products, it doesn't even matter. He doesn't even need this because he can already make both products here. Now, the trick is there is a trick to making products. Resources, anyone can make the resource, which is just the first letter. Anyone can do that, as long as they successfully complete whatever industrial action there is. Again, in my world, all the industrial actions can make resources and products equally. If you want to define certain industrial actions that can only make M resources or Z products in a more complex game, that's a great idea, but it all depends on how much work the people you are playing with are capable of doing and want to do. Okay, this is already a lot of work. Okay, this is already pretty hardcore. But if you want to take it up a notch, yes, you can do that. But back to the matter at hand, the default way to make products. So the trick is, it seems like easier because you have more things to do it, but it's not so easy. So here, at my coffee table, I'm not even able to make V or E products. Even because, for one thing, I need V or E resources, which let's say I don't own, or even if I do own them, I still can't make them. Why? Well, because it all depends, I should say, on the player's initials and opposite initials. So everyone is going to have at least one of these, one container with their stuff in it, and on it, it's good to put their first name, because that can be used for scoring, which I'm not going to get into now, and their initials, which it can also be used for scoring, but more importantly in this tutorial, it can be used for creating products. So I can create all these types of products with my initials, A, S, J, and then the opposite of that, Z, H, Q. V or E is not one of those options. So even though I can make V resources, I am not capable ever in my life in this game, unless someone makes a different customizable rule, but in the default rules, I, as my real person, cannot make V or E products in my entire life. If I want those, I have to get them from somebody else. I also can't make R or M just because it's in my first name. This has nothing to do with making, your first name has nothing to do with making products. And you really don't need anyone's middle name or last name. You just need their initials. So if they only have 2 initials, they're only going to have 2 up here. If they have 4 initials, they're going to have 4. And 5 and 5, sure, etc. Most people will have 3 initials if you're playing in the United States anyway. Okay, so where was I? So I can't create this. So what can I create? Well, like I say, I can create A and Z, for instance. So in this region here, or at least what's defined in this region, the only place I can make anything at, actually I can make something here because I can make A or Z. So that's one thing. So you, like resources, if I was making resources here, I can make V, Z, or M. If I'm making products here, like I say, you can do all these as long as you have the initials or opposite initials. I don't, but I do have these opposite initials. So I can manufacture Z or A. Now I still need the resources to be able to do that. So let's assume that I do have some. So let's just use these. Now you don't have to use these things. In fact, I don't recommend it, even though they're cool. They're kind of cool. I mean, it's okay to have them in your game, but I would have other things. The easiest thing to do are to have some cards. I like make custom cards. And I also use something else, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll make a separate video for that. But anyway, here is a resource. Let's say I only have one. Okay, these are my other resources, we'll say. I do have a Z as well. But we're just going to say I want to make a product. So I got to bring out my resource here. Now again, I'm at my property here. Oops, that's a different person or animal. And I'm just chilling, and I got my A resources. I'm like, oh, okay, thank goodness that my city allows me to make A products. This is the resources and products available at this city. So I can't do M, I can't do N, I can't do V, I can't do E, but I can do Z and A products. So I do one of the industrial actions that are permitted to make such things, and in my game and in the default game, it's all the industrial actions make the same thing. So you just pick what you're good at, or what you're less worse at, which in my case is Minesweeper. That's usually my favorite one. I have a few other ones. Again, I'll make a separate video on different industrial mechanics you can do. You can do, I don't even want to get into too much now, but not only like little games like that, but you can do chores or whatever. It depends on who you are. If you're a parent with kids, chores, something like that, whatever. There's all sorts of different things you could do, physical activities. Some kind of thing you have to accomplish according to the game master to make these things. So I'm going to play Minesweeper in my game of Eternal City, which is called Eternal City, and I'm going to do it on the easy level so I can make one. Again, if I'm doing it on the higher levels, in how I define it in my game is you make more at one time. So if I had 3 A resources and I was playing a harder level or whatever, then I could turn 3 A resources into A products. So I got that. So let's see, I accomplished that successfully. So this gets put away back into the Game Master's thing, and then I produce a beautiful A product. So this goes into my inventory, so I can add it into my box. Or I can just keep it out here for trading or whatever I'm doing. Now, just like with resources, I can go to other people's property and try to work out some kind of deal with them. They don't... Why do I keep on bringing that? I just brought the coffee table over. So I'm back here at the desk, and then, or I could go to the cabinet out here if I wanted to. Say I didn't own any of these. Yeah, I would have to work out some kind of deal. But no matter where I can go in this city, I am able to make Z or A. So at least I can do that. The other ones I make are not available in the city.